All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Will Robertson, the Associate Director of Parent Engagement here at Elon University. And we thank you so much for being here this afternoon. We have a webinar for you about internships with two of our staff members from the SPDC, which is our Student Professional Development Center. With us today, we have Robin Porter, who is the Director of Internships for the Love School of Business, as well as Amber Moser, who is the Director of Internships for the School of Communications. And I am going to hand it over to them. So, Robin and Amber, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you. We appreciate you joining us all today. So we will try to end around 12:45, 12:50. We realize that this is everyone's lunch break. If you've got questions, you can submit them in the Q&A, and then those questions that are most relevant for everyone, we will either get to as we're going through the presentation or save some time at the end. And if you have individual questions, we're also going to share email addresses at the end of the presentation, and we're happy to connect with you one-on-one. My name is Amber Moser. I'm the Director of Internships in the School of Communications. I've been at Elon for almost 10 years, and I've been in this role for almost 4 years. Really love the work that I do. So you can see our presentation today, Internships 1010 for Parents. We thought this was a funny name because all of our first-year students are required to take an Elon 1010 class, then introduces them to the university when they start here. And so we thought that that would be a good way to kick this off. So we will go ahead and get started. Get to my slide here. So we thought it might be helpful first to define what an internship is, how we think about it, how we define it, and where this information comes from. So what we tell our students is that an internship is a form of experiential learning. It integrates knowledge and theory learned in the classroom. So we want our internship experiences to be an extension of what our students learn in the classroom. And it should be an experience that includes practical application and skills development in a professional setting. It gives students the opportunity to gain valuable applied experience and to make connections in their chosen field that they are considering for a career path. And it also gives employers the opportunity to guide and evaluate talent. So this definition that we work off comes from the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and that is the professional association that's most closely aligned with the work that we do. And NACE, as the organization is called, also has a set of career competencies, and we align our coursework for the internship along those career competencies. So we are helping students think about and measure things like career and self-development, communication, critical thinking skills, equity and inclusion, leadership, professionalism, teamwork, and technology. All of these are skills that are relevant to all of our students, no matter the career path that they are embarking on. So that sort of sets the basis for what we're going to talk about today. And so I want to talk about the value of an internship. I tell my students all the time that even if I wasn't in this line of work, I would still highly recommend that students do an internship. When I was an undergrad, internships weren't required for either of my majors. And ironically, though, that is how I found out what I did and didn't want to do. Internships are a great way to gain valuable hands-on work experience, something that you can't always get in a classroom setting. And so it makes it a very important part of the internship. And then the class itself that goes along with the requirement is a great opportunity for students to reflect on the experience that they're in. Internships are a great way to explore a career path and evaluate if it's the right fit for our students. Some students are going to walk away from an internship and realize it wasn't the exact right fit for them, and that's okay. It's still a successful experience. It taught them what they don't want to do for their future career, and it's going to help them get closer to what it is they do want to do. They also give students an edge in the job market. And really at this point, it's almost a requirement for students to have internships, maybe even more than one, to get a job after graduation in the field that they want to get into. Really, this is a chance for them to get exposure in a professional setting. That way they're not walking into that space for the first time as a full-time professional. Internships definitely help students develop and refine their skills, whether these are soft skills, kind of like the competencies that I talked about a few minutes ago, or even the technical and hard skills that you need to be successful. And it gives them a chance to gain confidence in a professional setting. I personally think that one of the biggest values of an internship is networking with professionals. So once students are embedded into their internship and they're getting experience day to day, we tell them, take the time to network with the people that you're working with, whether that be supervisors, whether that be colleagues. Networking with those professionals is going to be a great maybe next step to their next internship or full-time job, but it's also a great way to learn from people who are already doing the work that they want to do. You can gain career advice from them, learn about their career path and what steps they take, and that can be immensely beneficial to students as they're moving forward. For some students, an internship might transition into a job, and if nothing else, it will help them identify their next steps. And then it also may be a chance for them to receive financial compensation, which is always a benefit. We highly recommend that our students secure a paid internship that can also give them academic credit. We would absolutely love that for every one of our students. And then pragmatically, an internship fulfills a course requirement on their degree audit, on their curriculum, and 1 or 2 units of our ELR. So our ELR is our experiential learning requirement that students are required to fulfill before they graduate. They can do that in many different ways, including research and study abroad, but an internship is also one of those options. So we're going to talk a little bit about our requirements for internships for academic credit. And these are our general requirements that are relevant across all of our majors and schools here at Elon. So your student, depending on their major, may have a couple of additional requirements that are school dependent, but these are our general requirements. So in order to register an internship for academic credit, students need to be in good academic standing and have a cumulative GPA of at least a 2.0. That's also the requirement for graduation, so most students don't really have a problem fulfilling this requirement. And then depending on the school, students either need to work a minimum of 40 or 80 hours per credit hour for their internship experience. And they have the option to complete 1 to 4 credits of that class and that requirement, depending on the school that they're in. Again, they can talk to their internship director if they have specific requirements, but this is a general requirement for us. And then regardless of the experience, we want students to work at least a minimum of 4 weeks. We encourage more. A lot of students, especially over the summer, are working anywhere from 6, 8, or 10 weeks. And so a longer experience means a more in-depth experience. And then interns must be completing a new experience, meaning they can't get academic credit for the same internship twice. And so we only allow academic credit once. And then if they want to do another experience for academic credit, they are more than welcome to. Several years ago, I actually had a School of Communications student who completed 4 separate internships for academic credit to gain as much experience as he could. And then all of our students who are receiving academic credit must enroll in the internship course concurrently with the internship. We do not provide retroactive credit, and the course that they enroll in is really dependent on their major. The reason that we require this along with the internship is because there's participation from the employer themselves, and we're asking students to actively reflect on the experience as they're moving through it. And then we also have some requirements for the internship site itself. The work that students are doing must demonstrate application of skills and education that they're learning within their discipline. So it must be discipline specific or major specific in order to count for academic credit. Some students might be a double major and they might find an experience that combines both of their interests, and that's completely okay as long as it lines up with the one that they're seeking academic credit for. And then we also want them to have a supervisor who's a professional with expertise in the work that they are completing at an established organization. So we want someone who can guide them, who can give them feedback, who can, train them, and who can, be a mentor for them throughout that experience. And because the supervisor may or may not have some responsibility for the grade based on their evaluation, that person cannot be a family member, a friend, and we also don't want our students reporting to a current student in their internship for academic credit. And our students can work on site or in a hybrid schedule. We recognize, especially since post-COVID, that hybrid internships are a lot more common than they used to be. And we do also approve remote internships on a case-by-case basis. There are definitely instances where an internship is going to be fully remote, and that works best for the student and for the employer. But for safety reasons, we don't allow our interns to work in a private residence. So if someone is operating a startup out of their home or their company is fully work from home, then we ask that the student also be fully remote or that they find a co-working space and a public space to work together. Good. And I do see some questions coming in. My colleague Robin is managing those, and we'll take maybe some time midway through to kind of start answering some of those as necessary. So I did want to talk a little bit about our expectations for our students when they are interning and our employers. So we expect students to represent themselves professionally at Elon and outside of Elon when they're in their internship. It aligns with our values of our honor code: honesty, integrity, responsibility, and respect. And our students are well aware of these values. And so that includes communicating professionally with all of our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and then company representatives like their supervisors and their colleagues. And we expect them to behave ethically and honestly in their experience. They are held to Elon's code of conduct and honor code, and they represent the university in their experience. Some students are paving the way for other students to come into that experience, and so we always encourage them to leave with a positive impression. And then we do also talk to our students about our policies around sexual harassment and discrimination and how that's not tolerated in the workplace. So the statement that Elon provides is that we strive to provide a safe environment for the campus community and support the institution's educational mission at all times. We do not tolerate acts of sexual harassment, gender-based violence, sexual misconduct, and sex and/or gender-based discrimination. All members of our community are expected to conduct themselves in a manner that reflects personal integrity and respect for others. This isn't a widespread problem in internships, but we like our students to be prepared and tell them that if they experience any form of harassment or discrimination in their workplace, they should let us know immediately. Our job is to be here to support them, and we will manage that and help them take care of that. So that's what we're here for, is to support them in all facets of their internship, including that. Again, not a widespread problem, but we like students to be prepared and know what resources are available to them. So we talk about this as part of our prep for them to go into their internship experiences. And I'm sure you all are curious about the most common time for our students to complete internships. So for us, the most common time is the summer after their sophomore year or their junior year. That's when the majority of our students complete internships for academic credit. I will, in the School of Communications, have roughly 200 students that are looking for academic credit this summer. Robin will probably have 350 in the Love School of Business. So summer is a busy time for us, but that doesn't mean a student can't complete an internship for academic credit during other points of their academic career. We actually run our classes for academic credit for internships spring semester, summer 1, summer 2, fall semester, and winter term for the College of Arts and Sciences and the School of Communications. So students can integrate their internship for academic credit at any point throughout their collegiate career. If summer isn't what works best for them, they can do it during an academic semester along with their other classes. And we also have opportunities for students to complete internships in an embedded program in other areas domestically or even abroad. So we have some study abroad programs, the FIE program with London being a big one, where students can do an internship for credit abroad, and that will transfer back to their curriculum here. Or if students want to stay domestically, we have Study USA locations in New York, Los Angeles, Charlotte, and DC. And those are very popular programs with our students. And so we have a large cohort going out to all of those locations this coming summer. And we also have students in those locations right now for spring semester. So that those programs do run in the fall as well. So lots of opportunities for students to complete their internship for academic credit. They just need to start thinking about it early. And we do tell students that because it's an academic component, that internships must coincide with our academic semesters. And so most students will find one that falls within, a fall semester, a spring semester, or a summer term. It needs to line up with that, though, in order for them to get academic credit. Good. Okay, so we'll move on. So tips for searching for internships. You can tell your student to start now. Now that may look different for every student. We don't mean that they have to actually start submitting applications right now. It really depends on where they are and their academic career here at Elon and when they're looking to do an internship for academic credit. So for some students, starting now might just mean meeting with their academic advisor and deciding where they're going to put their internship into their 4-year plan. We are in the middle right now of academic advising conversations for the fall semester coming up. And so that might be a good time to connect with their academic advisor. And for other students, maybe they're just now thinking they'd like to do a summer internship, and that's okay. A lot of industries are still hiring. And so that start process is going to look a lot different. They're going to want to start meeting with a career advisor, updating their resume, and starting to get some applications in. So when they are starting to search for internships and opportunities, we tell our students treat it like a class. Designate a certain amount of time every couple of days or each week to prepare your materials, to network with our alumni and connections that maybe we've helped them find, to send applications for those opportunities, and then to do some follow-up. Designating a specific amount of time each week makes it feel more official, like a class, and it gives them that block of time to just focus on that opportunity and that, that piece of their academic curriculum. Prepare to send many applications. So sometimes we can have students who come in and they start to panic because they've submitted applications and they're not hearing back. And it turns out they've maybe only submitted 5 applications. We have some students who submit up to 50. It really just runs a wide range of the number of applications that we recommend students to complete. And it really depends on how defined or how limited their search is. But students will need to prepare to send more applications than they're thinking they need to, just to be over prepared and to kind of spread a wide net, if you will, when they're doing their search. And then we tell our students to track their progress. All of the internship directors have a tracking form that we can share with our students, and so that they can remember where they've applied, when the deadlines were, do we have any connections with any of those companies, and where are they at in the process for each of those applications. This is a good way to stay organized. I tell students, when you're submitting applications, save a folder for each application on your computer. It should have the resume that you used to submit it, a screenshot or a copy of the position description, because that may disappear when the position closes, and then any other supplemental materials that you submitted, because you want to be able to refer back to those materials when they're in the interview process for an internship. And then we tell our students utilize our resources. So we have staff across campus in each of our schools that can help with the search process, with resume writing, with LinkedIn, with the interview process, all facets of the internship search, to ensure that our students are successful and feel supported in their search. And we have those linked here, and we can get those links to you. They're on our website. But the College of Arts and Sciences has an office in our main student center, Mosley, and that's our main SPDC, or Student Professional Development Center. And then we have an office in our School of Business, which is our Porter Center, which is where Robin Porter is located. And we also have an office in the School of Communications, which is where I'm located, over in McEwen. And we have actually a couple of smaller supplemental offices as well, like for athletics and for other student populations too. So we try to meet students where they are and make it as easy as possible for them to come in and meet with us during classes, during their school day, whenever they can fit in an appointment with us. And I did just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about our resources that we supply to students. So the biggest resource that we use is our Elon Job Network system. And our EJN system is multifaceted. So it's where students can make appointments with staff on campus to support them in their search. It's also a database of jobs and internships locally across the country, and even some international opportunities. And students can also see events that we're hosting on the Elon Job Network. And then when they go to register their internship, they're also going to register it on EJN. So students should be well versed with EJN. They automatically get an account when they become a student, and they're going to reference it at many times throughout their time here at Elon. And then we also have a strong LinkedIn and alumni network. And so we recommend that students create a LinkedIn really early in their time here and utilize that to network and connect with our alumni, especially our recent grads who were just in their shoes. They're so willing to meet our students and to connect with them and to support them in their internship search. And then I thought it would be helpful to talk about the different staff that we have in our office who support our internships. So we have a very large staff to support our students here on campus. And so like Robin and I, we have several internship directors on campus that are designated for the different schools. So we do have a colleague, Nancy Carpenter, who works with our College of Arts and Sciences, and she couldn't join us today, but she's our internship director for all of our students in the College of Arts and Sciences. And then Robin and I work with communications and business students. In addition, we also have career advisors located in each of the office locations that I just mentioned on the slide before. And those staff members can support students in all facets of the internship search. So if they can't get on an internship director's calendar, they can get on a career advisor's calendar. We all collaborate very closely together and work very closely together to support our students in their search. And then on top of that, we have a corporate and employer relations team, and we have a person designated for each of our schools. Their job is to build relationships with employers. So part of what they do is to build local relationships, but they also build relationships across the country with employers who then recruit our students for internships and jobs. So for example, my colleague Ryan Tobby, he started working with us last fall semester, and he's currently in Los Angeles building relationships with employers, meeting with them, and doing site visits in Los Angeles because that's a heavy population, a heavy area for our students to go to for Study USA. And then just after graduation, students want to be in that area. And so we have a large team of people that's here to support our students. Some are internally facing, some are externally facing, but we all want to make sure that our students are successful in finding internships and then jobs after they graduate from Elon. So after sharing resources, that feels like a natural transition point. I know that Robin has been monitoring the chat, and she's answered several questions already. I'm going to turn it over to her, and if we have any questions that we want to answer now, we will. Otherwise, we might wait until the end.
Thank you, Amber, and thank you all for all of the questions you've been sending in. I have tried to type as fast as I can to get to them, but I know I've missed a few, and please forgive any typos or things because I am trying to get to all of them as quickly as I can. But Amber, yes, I am happy to pick up if you could advance to the next slide, please, because this is one of the questions that's been coming in a lot in the chat. So thank you for those questions. Yes, tuition costs are required for the internship course. So if your student is planning to earn academic credit with their internship, then they do enroll into a credit-bearing course that Amber had mentioned earlier, where they will receive the credit that does factor into their GPA. So if your student is taking the internship course during the fall or spring semesters, and they are enrolled as a full-time student, which means 12 to 18 credit hours, then the tuition in that course would be wrapped into that fall and spring tuition. If your student is not taking 12 to 18 credits, so they are taking less than 12 credits in the fall or spring, then they would need to work with the bursar's office, who in conjunction with the registrar's office will determine how many credits the student is registering for and what the appropriate tuition costs will be. If your student is completing an internship during the summer months, then there is tuition charged for that, because there is still the course that is taught by a member here of the Elon faculty or staff. And so for this particular summer, to give you a frame of reference, it is $658 per credit. So it is a reduced rate for the summer, but that piece would show up on the students' tuition charges just like any other pieces would for their other classes. We often get a lot of questions from students about how does their financial aid play into this, and the teams that we work with the Student Professional Development Center We are not able to answer those questions, but the bursar's office can. So a student can certainly reach out to the bursar's office to see how their financial aid packages or any scholarships or anything like that would play into your summer tuition costs. So Amber, if you could switch to the next slide. So some of the course highlights. We know that internship course might be a different idea for a lot of people. So we thought giving some general guidelines and ideas of what the course looks like would be helpful. As we've mentioned, it is a course that is credit bearing. So your student will be earning an A through F grade. And a little differently than how they register for other courses, they will register through the Elon Job Network. If your student has questions, the best thing to do is tell them to go talk with their internship director, because we can work with them on completing that form in the Elon Job Network. They will not register themselves through OnTrack as they do their other courses. If they try, they will receive a block error message, which is appropriate. So if your student comes to you and says, I tried to register and it blocked me, let them know that that is the appropriate message that they should receive and that they need to go to the Elon Job Network. The students must earn a passing grade in the course and complete all the required work hours at the internship in order to earn the academic credit. So it's a two-part internship. The hours that they're working on site or remotely at their internship, and then also the coursework that goes along with that. If the student does not successfully pass the class and complete the required work hours, then they will have to retake the course if they are looking to earn academic credit with it. If they are not looking to earn academic credit, then that would be a conversation that they could have with their employer and the internship director. One of the nice things, and Amber had mentioned this earlier, is students automatically will be earning the ELR as well with their internship if they register it for academic credit. So they would get 1 or 2 ELRs depending on the number of credits that they enrolled for. So 1 academic credit would be 1 ELR unit, and 2 academic credits would be 2 ELR units, in addition to the academic credit. Very important to note that once a student starts the internship course, they cannot change the number of credits. So it's very important that the students select that credit piece appropriately when they are submitting their registration, because we are not able to go back a few weeks into the internship and change the number of course credits that they're enrolled in. That is because we have them enrolled in classes, and the classes oftentimes are based on the number of credits. There might be a different syllabus, and they're working with a course instructor who has all of that set up ahead of time. So Amber, I know it's hard to manage and flip slides. So a few highlights about the course. I saw a few questions in the chat in the Q&A about how the course is managed. Knowing that students, especially in the summer, might be all over the world trying to complete this course, it is done in an asynchronous fashion through Moodle, which is the platform that Elon uses for all of our other courses. So it's one that students are very familiar with. The nice part about being asynchronous is it doesn't matter where the student is in the world. They can complete the assignments at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. any day of the week. Each assignment will have a stated due date, and so they do have to meet that due date, but they can work at their own pace and their own speed. There will always be their course instructor as well as their internship director who is available to answer questions, to work with them. We will be checking in with them throughout the experience, because we do not have that opportunity where we all come together, every Tuesday at 11 a.m. for a class. So these regular check-ins are our way to make sure that the student feels supported and that they are on the right track with completing all of their assignments. As we've mentioned a few times, this course does earn a letter grade, so it is factored into the student's GPA. Again, they have to meet the minimum work hours for the credit enrolled. The internship director can work with the student to determine what that is. It's also posted on all of our websites. Very important, at the end of the internship experience, the student is asked to submit a time verification form. That form will be given to the student through their course instructor. And that is what Elon uses to verify that the student completed the required hours. So the student and the student's internship site supervisor will sign off on that document, and then the student will upload that document into Moodle. If they do not provide that document, then it will impact their ability to successfully pass the class. So it's critical that they submit that document at the end of the internship experience. And they also, as we've mentioned, must complete all of the course assignments. We do understand that situations come up. You know, family situations happen, things in the internship might change. So if need be, we will work with the student on a case-by-case basis if some of those deadlines need to be shifted for a situation that may come up unexpectedly. So please know that we do understand that and we have some flexibility, but it's not if, well, I just didn't feel like doing the work this week. It is for, you know, legitimate emergencies or concerns. And, oh, I should have mentioned also, sorry, Amber, if at any point a student decides that they want to end their internship early or shift it in any sort of drastic way, they need to immediately connect with their respective internship director prior to making any firm decisions with their employer. We need to make sure that any shifts with their internship do not impact their ability to successfully complete the course or the internship experience. So our duty of care is to the student first and making sure that that successful path is being followed. And if for some reason shifts need to be made, we can do it in a way that we are helping to ensure the success of the student for that experience. A few slides ago, Amber had mentioned some of the resources that we provide here on campus through our different programs and then also with our staff members. And a newer program that we are helping to promote is called the Campus Alamance Summer Internship Program. And for you that are on this call that maybe have younger students that are having some trouble finding internships simply because they don't have the experience yet, this might be a program that would be of interest to them. And what it is it's a partnership between Elon University and then local nonprofit, for-profit, and government entities, all in Alamance County. And it's a summer internship program that is paid, that's 8 weeks long, and it has a variety of opportunities. The program is about 4 years old now, and we have seen it steadily grow and increase. Our colleague, Nancy Carpenter, is the staff member who works with this program and manages it and does a remarkable job working with the students. All of the internships that are available in this program, students can use for academic credit and or to meet that ELR requirement as well. It does follow a very specific application and interview timeline. So for summer 2024, they are in the final stages of getting everything wrapped up so that the students can begin their internships in just a few weeks. But the process will open up again in spring of 2025 for opportunities in the summer of 2025. So we thought we would share this with you now. If your student is coming to you and thinking about opportunities for next summer, this might be a great program for them to explore and to keep on their radar for opportunities. And a question that we get often is, where have students done their internships? And so here on the screen is a short list of all the places that students have done internships. I won't read through it specifically with you, but a few things to keep in mind: that we have students doing internships all over the world each semester. We also are very fortunate that a lot of our students might be interning at places that don't seem linear. And so what I mean by that is you might see someone that says the Estee Lauder companies, and you might think, oh, that's probably marketing. But we may have someone in HR there. Or the Big League Productions, you might think it's someone that's more related to sport management. We might have a finance student there. So again, our students are doing internships in a lot of different areas. So this was just a short list that we thought might help give you an idea of where students are interning and some places that they might want to start considering or researching if they're in the market for an internship in the future. As we wrap up, a few next steps that we thought would be helpful. Your questions have been coming in and they are amazing, and we encourage you and your students to keep asking these questions because it will help you be better prepared moving forward. So as you're talking with your student, encourage them to schedule a meeting with one of their career advisors or their respective internship director. They can schedule an appointment directly through the Elon Job Network, and they can put what the purpose of the meeting is, as well as the staff member that they would like to meet with. We do offer in-person and virtual appointments. So for some students, maybe they're not quite at this point where they're ready to meet with someone, but maybe this summer they'll decide that they want to. So know that we are available throughout the summer to also meet virtually if we need to. And during the academic year, all of our areas offer drop-in hours, and you'll see the list here below. And we've scheduled this out so that through Monday through Thursday, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., somebody is available to meet with students for drop-in hours. These are quick questions, maybe 10, 15 minutes max. If we, as one of the advisors, feel that the question might last longer than 10 to 15 minutes, we will then ask the student to schedule an appointment so that we can dig in a little deeper. But please know, if your student is in the College of Arts and Sciences, they are welcome to go to drop-in hours at the Love School of Business or over in the School of Communications, and vice versa. Each of our areas, we do have a little bit more specialty and knowledge in the respective school that we sit, but we can certainly answer general questions, and we are happy to talk with any students because we understand that the set drop-in hours may overlap with class schedules. So we think over that 5-hour time frame each day, students should be able to connect with someone for additional questions. The biggest piece of information that we can offer you through this session is that communication is critical. It is very important that students connect with their career advisors, the internship directors, and start this process early. We do not have a limit on how many times a student can work with us or meet with us. So anytime that your student has questions about anything related to internships, career, even graduate school, we are here to help support those. And keeping that flow of communication is very important. So as a parent, we think it's great that you are coming to this to gain knowledge, to really equip yourself to help guide your student. And so know that you can always direct them to us for those questions. And likewise, we are also communicating out to students. So we are marketing to them different events that we host on campus, career fairs, employer sessions, information sessions. We're also pushing out to them opportunities that come across our desk that may be closing in just a few days, or maybe are from a new company that one of our corporate and employer relations team members has built a relationship with. So we definitely know that communication is a two-way street. And so as much as we are trying to push out to students, we're hoping that they are coming to us with questions and seeking guidance as well. So that brings us to the end of our session. On the screen are the 3 internship directors and also our email addresses. So please feel free to share these with your students, reach out if you have questions. As a reminder, Amber Moser is the Director of Internships for the School of Communications. I am in the School of Business, and Nancy Carpenter is in our College of Arts and Sciences. We can certainly answer questions about each other's area that are general in nature. If you or your student have questions that are very specific to their major, the career industry that they're looking in, then it would be best to go directly to the internship director for their major.
Or the career advisor as well.
Or the career advisor, yes.
So we definitely have some questions in the chat box and the Q&A that I want to make sure that we address. or re-emphasize some content that we've shared. So I did want to let everyone know that this video and the slide deck is going to be posted to the website. So you will have access to this content to review later. And that means you also have access to our email addresses if you want to reach out with specific questions after you've gone back through and reviewed everything. A couple of questions, though, about students registering internships, whether they've found them through Elon resources or found them on their own. I think Robin mentioned this a little bit, that they will register those internships through the Elon Job Network. So a student doesn't have to find an internship through our resources for it to count for academic credit. All of our students have access to all of our requirements. And if they are doing searching on their own, if they have their own connections that they would like to utilize, or they've just found something that interests them, they can still register it the same way that a student would if they found an opportunity that's posted on the Elon Job Network. So students have plenty of options for looking for opportunities. And those can be paid or unpaid internships. We definitely have students who accept unpaid internships. I saw a couple of questions about that. For some students, they don't, they're not prioritizing pay. It really depends on how flexible they are in their search. Obviously, we would like our students to find paid internships. That's a benefit to everyone. But there are some students who will choose to register an unpaid internship for academic credit. And I'm trying to work through some of the questions here. I think Robin answered some of the questions about the tuition and the study abroad program that came up in the chat box.
And Amber, I'm seeing one question about the Campus Alamance program, and are there opportunities for business majors, or is it mostly for communications and arts and sciences? Great question. The Campus Alamance program is open to all students at the university, regardless of year in school or major. So through that program, we do have students from all three of our schools that participate throughout the years. Each year, the employers that partner with the university may change a little bit. So it's hard for me to say like definitively, yes, there will be, certain majors being accepted, because it all depends on which employers are coming to the program and what opportunities they have for that summer. But I can say with confidence that over the years, we have had a variety of majors and students from all three schools participate in the program.
I am seeing a couple of questions about students who maybe have double majors or a major and a minor, and what their internship should be related to. And so what I would tell your student is the major or minor that they are seeking academic credit for, that is what their internship needs to be related to. So for students who might be a double major in, say, human resources in the business school and communication design in the School of Communications, they would do 2 internships for academic credit. And when they're registering for comm credit, it would have to be related to their design major. And when they're registering for business credit, it would need to be related to their human resources major. And some students are going to double major or pick a minor in something that also doesn't require an internship. It's certainly possible for them to combine interests, but the majority of what they're doing needs to be related to the major for which they're seeking credit. So I hope that clarifies that question.
And I'm answering another one that might be good for the group. Someone has asked, why would a student choose 2 credits for the internship if only 1 ELR is needed? And students need 2 ELRs to graduate from Elon. And with that, they can use an internship to meet both of those ELR requirements. So some students do it for that purpose. Other students do 2 credits because their program might require it, or they might also be using it to try and up their total credits that they've earned. So for example, a lot of our accounting students will do a 2-credit internship because to sit for the CPA, they have to have a minimum of 150 credit hours total. And so when they go to do that, they can register for 2 internship credits and help get themselves a little bit closer to that overall credit count with their graduation from Elon. And
I see a question here about internships with family. So we don't allow students to report to family members as supervisors. We've certainly had students in the past who maybe work with family businesses, but report to other people. That would be on a case-by-case basis, and I would recommend that your student talk to their respective internship director to make sure that everything lines up with our requirements. But we don't allow students to report to family members. If they have connections in the industry, by all means, we tell them to utilize those connections. They just can't report to that person.
Yes.
And we, someone asked about approving or judging internships for credit. We vet all opportunities as much as we can. And so by that process, we review the website, we reach out to supervisors if we need to, we make sure that everything looks legitimate. And we make sure that what a student is submitting for credit fits our requirements before we approve it for academic credit. So I've also seen a couple of questions about students maybe getting into the class before they've gotten an internship secured, and we're not able to do that because they have to have the internship to take the class. We approve that experience as part of the class process.
And speaking of the class, I see a couple questions about the approval process and how long that takes. During the academic year, it usually goes a little bit quicker because we don't have quite the volume. So I would say a safe bet is anywhere from 5 to 10 business days, depending on the timing of the year. So for the summer, it takes a little bit longer for us to work through, simply because of the volume of students that are registering their internship for academic credit. It's a manual process. So once the internship registration comes in through the Elon Job Network, one of the internship directors is reviewing all of the information that's submitted to make sure that there aren't any missing pieces and to make sure that all of the internship requirement is being met so that the student doesn't start the internship and then come to find out you can't use this for academic credit. So we are really looking through each of those pieces carefully prior to saying yes and getting the student enrolled. And then we work closely with the registrar's office to get the student enrolled into the proper course. So again, during the academic year, that goes a little bit quicker simply because we have fewer numbers of students. And then in the summer, it takes several more days to process all of the registrations. If your student submits a registration and feels like they've waited an appropriate amount of time and they have not heard anything, please encourage them to reach out to the internship director, because sometimes information might be hidden, as what we call in the Elon Job Network, because the student may not have completed the form correctly. And so if they are able to tell us that, we can dig through the system to find what they have submitted and make sure that it's getting to the appropriate internship director. So please know they're always welcome to reach out to us if they feel like they've submitted something and they're not hearing back.
The content that they're including on that application to us is information like the company name, any kind of online presence they have, so we can use that to sort of vet the company, the person that they're reporting to, and their contact information. They'll also put information in there about the kinds of projects and the work that they'll be completing, and then more logistical information such as the number of credits they're seeking, the school that they're filling out their form for, because all of us use the same form, so they can select Love School of Business, School of Communications, or Arts and Sciences. But it's all of that particular information that we use to approve the opportunity. And in some cases, the supervisor at the company also approves it. And that's a process for me in the School of Communications, that the supervisor also has to acknowledge they're helping your student get credit for their experience. A student can find out if their program requires an internship based on their degree curriculum. This is something that they can see on their on-track, or they can talk to their academic advisor about their options. And like I said, most of your students have probably been meeting with their academic advisor right now to prep for their fall semester upcoming classes. And I feel like I had another question that I was going to address, and I can't remember what it was.
While you look for that one, Amber, I've got one that's come up that the question is about if a student studies abroad and does an internship through that program, do they earn 2 ELRs or do they have to pick one for it to count? In most cases, yes, the student would be able to earn one ELR for the study abroad and one ELR for the internship, even if they're doing all of that at the same time. That's a great thing to double check with the Global Education Center, which is the GEC. That is the team that oversees and manages all of our study abroad programs. And Amber and I discussed whether or not we should get into this because students can do an internship through their study abroad program. We decided not to address that because it's very specific to certain populations of students, but we are always happy to work with your student if they have questions about doing an internship that's part of a study abroad program. Some of our study abroad programs have an internship embedded into the program, which means it's an automatic piece of the study abroad experience. So they will go abroad, they will work an internship, they will take classes, and all of that credit transfers back to the university. Other study abroad programs do not have it embedded as part of the program, but students add an internship experience into that while they are studying abroad. So it gets a little bit down to that nitty-gritty of which program are you in and how are you doing all of this. So we are always happy to answer specific questions about internships and studying abroad. Amber, Nancy, and myself work very closely with our GEC team. And so we have a great partnership and working relationship with them for internships and study abroad.
Yes. I remembered the questions that I was going to address. I know we're getting towards the end of our time, but I've seen a lot of different questions about specific internships. So students who are in engineering, where have they interned? Or what is the requirement for the strategic communication students? Or I have a student in music production, or my student wants to go to Elon in LA, where have students interned? So one thing I will tell you is that one of the benefits of the Elon Job Network is it's not just a database of jobs and internships, it's also a company database. So we have a database of over 10,000 companies that is kind of, you can filter it by industry, you can filter it by location. And that's a good way for students to see where other students have interned or what companies are interacting with Elon and recruiting with us. And you can also have your student meet with us as the internship director. Many times I'll sit down with a student and say, hey, okay, if you want to go to Los Angeles, let's look at some legacy companies and let's look at where our students have been at previously and see if any of these companies interest you. And so that's one of the reasons we encourage our students to come meet with us is because we can get to know them and their specific interests and answer those specific questions in that one-on-one appointment. And we're happy to share that information with them as we meet with them. There is a list of study abroad programs and destinations that include internships that would be found on the Isabella Cannon Global Education Center website. And so that office manages the study abroad programs and the internship component that is a part of that because that comes back as transfer credit for students. I think that's the majority of the questions in the content. Robin, did I miss anything major?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well,
someone did ask about making an appointment versus a drop-in for the first meeting. It's really up to the student and their availability. If they want to come by and drop in, we can make an appointment during that time to find what fits their schedule. A drop-in may be the least intimidating way to come in and just say hello.
well, Robin and Amber, I'm sure you all have, I know you've been kind of crazy trying to manage the slides in the chat and everything at once, but hopefully you can see in the chat all of the great comments, the thank yous and shout outs for all of your information and things like that. So we really appreciate you all doing this. And for those of you who are watching, if you want to look at the slides or watch the whole video again, we will post this on our website, on the Elon Parents website. So the easiest way is to go to elon.edu/parents. And then over on the left-hand side, there's a thing that's a menu that says family webinar. So click on that and that'll have not only this information, but all from our past webinars as well. So you'll be able to check out that information there again, elon.edu/parents. And then over on the left-hand side, family webinars. So we encourage you to go check that out. And you can also look us up on YouTube as well under at Elon Parents, and we'll have this video and all of our past webinar videos as well. So multiple places you can get this information. Again, and if you have additional questions, you can still see on the screen there, Amber and Robin's email addresses are there. Reach out, have your students reach out. Definitely, as they said, the communication is great, and the earlier they can start and get in front of these folks, the better it'll be. So again, Amber and Robin, thank you all so much, and thank you to all the parents who joined us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, everyone.